Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Batman, issue number 63. Last issue didn't make a whole lot of sense, did it? It's going to make a whole lot of sense in this one. Everything's going to suddenly go, oh, and you're still not going to know what's going on. I love that. I absolutely love that. Let's get into who did this, dude. So we got, no, I'm not going to, basically Smoke and Mirrors, Nightmares, Part 3, Smoke and Mirrors. That's the name of this issue. So we got Tom King writing, Mikhail Janine doing the art, Jordi Belair doing the colors, Clayton Cowles on letters, Mike Janine doing the cover, and the variant cover is by Tony S. Daniel and Tomio Morao. Bill Finger created the book, and, well, we saw some nice original artwork by Bob Kane in the Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles this week in comics video that I just did. So, you know what? Tom Kane, Bob Kane had something to do with Batman. Anyway, so John Constantine is not in this book, yet he is. What does that mean? Read the damn book. You get a lot of beautiful stuff in here, man. Selina and Batman, but I want you to pay attention to the fact that Bruce is as Bruce. He's not dressed as Batman in this. And then later on he is. Exact same scene. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Do you even remember if he was dressed as Batman or not in issue number 50, the wedding issue? I had to go back and look. This was a very impressive issue in that I'm looking at the whole issue going, what in the high holy hell is going on? And all of a sudden, oh, well, shoot, that makes sense. And you know what? I'm used to it by now. Because the entire time I'm reading this, I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no damned idea what the hell is going on. That's okay. Just keep reading till the end of the book. You'll figure it out. That's how Tom King is writing these stories. You don't know what's going on until the end. Somehow, he has the ability to do that every single time. It doesn't get old. Doesn't get old. Especially doesn't get old seeing people, sitting there talking about, I don't understand what Tom King do. Calm down, man. Stop reading the book if you don't like it. Oh my God. But it's Batman. Yes, I know. It's Batman. It's really hard for you to stop reading Batman comic books, right? That should say something. That should seriously say something about you, brah. Anyway, this was fantastic. Now, look. I don't make any money off of doing this stuff, right? That's a lie, but I don't make a whole lot of money doing any of this stuff. I don't do the whole Patreon account thing. I just, you know what? I just hope that you guys are going to watch the ads as they come through. But aside from that, ain't a whole lot of other ways to support me. You know what I'm saying? Your views don't mean anything if an ad isn't watched. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But unfortunately, the same thing with Twitter and whatever else. Now, I just had a conversation earlier today about on Twitter about the Batman thing, and you go on to my Twitter and you can check that out. And I really want to point that out because I do hear people complaining who I know the character pretty damn well. But understand my point of view from this. Understand what I believe, and I can't speak for Tom King. I'm not going to be so pretentious as to think that I can. But I think in some ways, I'm one of the many people who are qualified to at least venture a guess. I'm not worried about the character, all right? Batman isn't going anywhere. Batman is going nowhere. And there's also Detective Comics and Justice League. If you don't like this version of Batman, check out that one or the other one. But I did briefly mention in 5 short tweets, all tweets are short, even though they're twice as long as they used to be, that Tom King is a veteran of the CIA. And apparently he's gotten his hands dirty. That's one way of looking at it. He's gotten his hands a little bloody, a little messy, all right? A couple of times. I've said this in multiple scenarios, multiple real-life situations where people don't like something about what I say or how I think or how I express myself or something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot about me that's different from the norm. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that everybody who reads comic books understands that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay. Reading comic books is out of the norm. You know what I'm saying? Even though these people are looking at our characters, damn it, on the movies and the big screens and whatnot, it's the comic books that actually count. They're canon. They're undeniably canon. That's where it comes from. That's where the stories come from. Now, as a vet, I think differently than a lot of people. About 7% of the U.S. population thinks the way that I do, because that's all that ever actually joins the military. Now, understand, military is one of the hardest things to get into, all right? And just, I saw a Joe Rogan podcast that put it into even better perspective than what I already had, than what has already been explained to me while I was in the service. Anybody can get into college. You might not get into the college that you want immediately, but you can. You know, the military isn't about price. The military isn't about this, that, or the other thing, but you can be rejected from the military because of your grades. Meanwhile, you can get into any state college, or you can get into any, community college, regardless of your grades, you know. But if you don't score a certain way on an exam, you're gone. You don't exist. You never got into the military. And the same thing, if your vision is bad and it can't be corrected in a way that they appreciate, your hearing is bad, they don't accept hearing aids and all that stuff for newcomers. It's not going to happen. All right. There's a lot that can get you booted out of the military. A whole lot. At this point, you can't be transsexual, a trans person. I don't know how the term is, but part of the LGBT community. All right, you will not be accepted at this point, or booted out at this point. Ridiculous, right? Because somehow that has something to do with your courage and your ability to follow orders and direct battle. Okay, so There's a lot to be said about soldiers. We are the few who are able to actually make it in. We're some of the only people who even tried to get in. They don't just accept anybody. No, it is harder to get into the military than it is to get into a community college. It's harder to get into the military than it is to get a job at a McDonald's. All right? It's much, much harder. And we do think differently. We all do. CIA isn't much different. All right, isn't much different at all. Because of my height, I was asked to come in and talk to some people in the CIA to see if I was interested in doing like bodyguarding and things like that, and I wasn't. My battle buddy and I were just not interested. This was in our AIT. So I think that the purpose of all of this that I'm explaining is that we do think differently. There's no doubt. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. I've had more than, in my 43 years of life on this planet, being on both sides of the fence before I joined the military, and then after I was in the military and after I left the military, I understand that I do think very differently than was it 93% of the American population. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So not a lot of people appreciate the way I think, the way I convey thoughts, the way that I operate daily. Sometimes people say, you got like just too much energy, man, just too much energy. It's called motivation. It's called motivation. That is like a side effect of being in the military. You know how to motivate yourself. You don't broke excuses quite as much as other people will. There's a lot about it. And also, for many of us, there's a certain level of sadness that exists and a certain amount of appreciation. You will be so ingrained in your training and your work and all things like that when you finally do get a break and you finally do get like that once a week moment, that Sunday where you get that moment to just freaking sit down and chill out and look out, and then you see a bird sitting in a tree singing, or a squirrel running across a telephone line. You appreciate it so goddamn much. If you haven't been in the military and you haven't stopped from the constant movement, and then just finally you get a moment, you don't understand what it means to just really be able to appreciate. It's a Zen moment to see a damn butterfly. You know what I'm saying? So when I see the way that Tom King writes, when I read what he's saying, the message that he's conveying, I'm appreciating it on a different level. It's a shame. I'm not here to apologize for any damn thing that he writes. If you don't get it, you're not going to get it. You're never going to get it. Just stop reading. Save your money. Save your money. It's not that your collection isn't that important. Save your money, save your sanity. I appreciate the hell out of what Tom King is writing because I'm seeing, I think, at least my interpretation of what his point of view is, what he's trying to do with Batman. I've explained it a couple times. Go and check out some other reviews that I've done. But man, like it is something that it speaks to you. And I don't know if a non-military veteran can appreciate what he's writing. I honestly don't know because I'm not one of them anymore. I'm just not. I'll never know what that side is like anymore. It's too late for me. Just go. But I can say that from my side, it's great. Now, if nobody's able to appreciate it, well, then Tom King is just wrong. That's what it is, and veterans shouldn't be writing comic books, right? But there are a lot of other people who are getting it, even though they've never served in the military before. I can say this. I believe that if we can stop, take a breath, and just try and let the story be told instead of saying, "This isn't my Batman," understand that you don't have a Batman. You don't have a Batman. Oh, it's out of character. Him killing the freaking KG Beast when Jim Starlin was writing was out of character. It's also considered one of the greatest stories that have ever been told in Batman lore, right? Batman finding a way to kill everybody in the freaking Justice League. Do you think that people appreciated the Tower of Babel story when it first came out? Do you think that was a widely accepted story? Look, man, there's a lot out there. And it's great to be able to look back with hindsight and say, oh, all these were great. Here's one of those situations where you're kind of living. I'm not making a comparison to the Bible. I'm not doing that, but I will say, all the people who are Christian today, would you have been Christian during the time of Jesus? Just stop. Ask yourself honestly. Be honest. Shut up. And just honestly ask yourself, would you have walked with Jesus, or would he have scorned you for being a liar, for denying him 3 times before the cock crows? You know what I'm saying? Just honestly, would you? Likewise, in a very different yet somewhat similar regard, we're going through what can be considered a very rough shot of Batman. Can you just walk and listen and read and understand the story that's being told in here? Batman is broken, but he's still moving. Why? He's got to. That's it. This is an amazing story. This particular issue, this one right here, guys, this was actually a really beautiful story. Because him with Selena, him losing what he's losing right now. I'm seeing a lot of people hating on Tom King's Mr. Miracle. He's seeing people hating like hell, parents hating on Tom King's the Walmart story that's out now, one of those golden age books, whatever. I don't shop it. I try to avoid shopping at Walmart, I should say. I hate the concept of Walmart. I despise it. The people who are the major shareholders of it despise. What do you call it? But I'm hearing that they're not liking some of the things, that Tom King wrote a 12-page story. Then they're just hating the story. Oh my God, it's not for kids. I think that what's being told here is an amazing story. I'd really hate for Tom King to leave comic books, to feel like he's being chased out. You know what I'm saying? Because it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody, no matter how strong they are. There's limits to strength. That's why we talk about how strong someone is. But this is, to me, I think I'm seeing what he's doing. And I am so in love with the stories that he's presenting, this insight into Batman that I've never seen anybody else being able to do before. Is this better than things that, than other stories out there? In some regard. And in some regards not. It's just different. You don't like it. What do you want? Anyway, guys, this story is going on until issue 100, apparently. It's going on. I'm down for the ride. And Shame. Be a shame. Be a shame if he was going to leave it after issue 100, and then there were a bunch of people who are just like, but wait! Because this is good. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.